Imagine for a moment you are settling into bed after a perfectly normal day. You feel fine, maybe a little tired, but nothing out of the ordinary. You drift off to sleep, and in the quiet, dark hours of the night, something inside your body begins to shift, a simple chain reaction, triggered by a piece of fruit you ate hours earlier. Is silently setting the stage for a catastrophe. You wake up, but you are not the same. One side of your body won't respond. You try to call out for help, but the words are trapped, tangled. In your mind, you can't stand, you can't speak, you can't understand what is happening. This isn't a scene from a movie. As a brain doctor, I've seen this devastating reality play out far too many times. And the culprit isn't always what you had expect, like smoking or a lifetime of junk food. Sometimes, the trigger is something you have considered healthy your entire life, a simple piece of fruit. I know how shocking that sounds, but please, hear me out. When you pass the age of 60, your body is playing by a different set of rules. Your kidneys, your liver, your blood vessels, and even your brain don't process things like sugar, potassium, or natural acids the way they used to. Add in common medications, a natural slowing of circulation, and the simple fact that we often become dehydrated overnight. And you have a perfect storm brewing. A piece of fruit that was once a harmless snack can become a silent threat. That is why I need to walk you through this today too. Talk about 6 common fruits that, when eaten at the wrong time or in the wrong way, could be doing much more harm than good. If this is a topic that hits close to home for you, and you want to arm yourself with more practical, science-backed knowledge to protect your health, I hope you will stick with them. We will start with a fruit that is in almost every kitchen, a friendly, familiar staple we have loved since we were children. Let us talk about bananas. Yes, the humble banana, soft, sweet, easy on the stomach, and packed with nutrients, it feels like the safest, most comforting snack in the world. But for a Bodhi over 60, that familiar friend can have a hidden dark side, especially when it gets a little too ripe. You know those bananas, the ones with the brown speckles, the ones that are incredibly soft and smell intensely sweet. As a banana ripens, its starches convert into simple sugars. That is what gives it that delicious, creamy taste. But while the flavor gets better, the impact on your body becomes much riskier. An overripe banana has an incredibly high glycemic, which is a fancy way of saying it floods your bloodstream with sugar at lightning speed. Now, why is that a big deal? After 60, it is because the systems that protect you are no longer as robust. Your body's ability to manage potassium, to regulate blood sugar, and to maintain stable blood pressure has weakened. Your kidneys work a bit slower, your cells don't respond to insulin as well as they used to, and your blood vessels have lost some of their youthful flexibility. In this delicate environment, something as innocent as a mushy, speckled banana can cause your blood sugar to spike violently. This puts immediate stress on your arteries at the same time that banana delivers a massive dose of potassium, while potassium is essential. Too much at once can overwhelm aging kidney sand, potentially disrupt your heart's rhythm. I will never forget a patient of mine, a wonderful 76-year-old retired librarian named Hallie. Every single morning, she had have 1 or 2 very ripe bananas, often blended into a smoothie. She believed it was the healthiest way to start her day. But one morning, she woke up feeling terribly dizzy, and when she tried to speak to her husband, her words came out slurred and confused. He rushed her to the emergency room, where doctors diagnosed her with a mild ischemic stroke. A clot had blocked a vessel in her brain. Her blood pressure had skyrocketed overnight, and her potassium levels were dangerously high. The doctors explained that while the bananas weren't the single cause, the combination of that intense sugar and potassium hit, on top of the mild dehydration that occurs during sleep, created the exact conditions for a stroke. Hallie thankfully recovered. She made a simple change. She switched to smaller, slightly greener bananas and made sure to eat them only after she had had a glass of water and a little bit of protein like a handful of nuts. Her energy stabilized. Her blood pressure evened out. The lesson here isn't that bananas are evil, but that context is everything. An overripe banana, especially on an empty stomach first thing in the morning, can quietly push a vulnerable system toward the edge. And bananacery, far from the only fruit with this hidden potential, the danger can also come in a much smaller package. something you can pop into your mouth by the handful without a second thought. I am talking about grapes. They seem so harmless, don't they? Little jewels of sweetness, refreshing and light. We toss them in salads, serve them with cheese, or give them to the grandkids as a healthy treat. But for someone over 60, a bowl of grapes might as well be a bowl of sugar cubes. Grapes, especially the extra sweet, seedless varieties that dominate our grocery stores, are one of the most concentrated sources of glucose and fructose you can eat. When you eat a big handful, especially on an empty stomach, that sugar bypasses all the normal digestive checkpoints and goes straight into your bloodstream, causing a rapid, dramatic spike. As we age and our insulin response becomes sluggish, this isn't just a quick burst of energy, it is a shock to the system. Think about what is happening inside your body. Inside those delicate, aging blood vessels in your brain and heart, causing microscopic irritation and inflammation along the arterial walls. Your body, in its wisdom, tries to repair this damage by forming tiny little patches or clots. Day after day, you might not feel a thing. But with each bowl of grapes, the inflammation continues. The risk of a clot growing or breaking off in chest-up, bit by bit, it is a silent, cumulative process. Until one morning, you wake up and the world feels tilted, your balance is gone. Or, you try to say a word and it simply won't come out. This is precisely what happened to a patient I treated, Mrs. Evelyn Morris. A sharp and independent 79-year-old retired music teacher. She had a cherished mid-morning routine, a cup of tea and a big bowl of red grapes while she did her reading. Some days, she'd mindlessly eat 2 whole cups. Then, one afternoon, while writing a birthday card to her grandson, she felt a strange tremor in her hand. A few moments later, she stared at Deckard, completely unable to remember how to spell the word congratulations. Her daughter thankfully recognized something was wrong and rushed her to the hospital. It was a TIA, a transient ischemic attack, often called a mini stroke. Her blood sugar was through the roof, and her lab work showed signs of low-grade inflammation and pre-diabetic markers she never knew she had. She was devastated, she thought. She was doing everything right, choosing fruit over cookies, but even a healthy food, when consumed in the wrong way, can become a quiet saboteur. So now, I tell all my older patients, never ever eat grapes in an empty stomach or by the bowlful. If you love them, enjoy a small handful, but always pair them with something that will slow down that sugar rush. A few Mons, a slice of cheese, a dollop of yogurt, and please, avoid eating them at night. Your brain needs stable, steady blood flow while you sleep, not a roller coaster of sugar spikes. Even something so small can become a big risk when you are not looking. Now, if the sugar in grapes was a surprise, wait until we delve into a tropical favorite. That sweet, tangy bite of pineapple you might enjoy after dinner could be quietly setting up a different, even more direct danger to your brain while you sleep for older adults. Especially those on any kind of medication or dealing with circulatory issues, pineapple is a fruit that demands extreme caution. Here is why. Pineapple contains a powerful enzyme called bromelain in small amounts. It is known for helping with digestion, but in larger quantities, or more importantly, when combined with common medications like blood thinners or even daily aspirin, bromelain can seriously interfere with your body's ability to form clots. In simple terms, it can make your blood too thin. This doesn't just increase the risk of bruising, it opens the door to something far more dangerous, a hemorrhagic stroke or a brain bleed. This type of stroke is often more catastrophic and harder to recover from than one caused by a clot. But the danger of pineapple is a triple threat. It is not just the bromelain. Pineapple is also incredibly high in sugar and has a high glycemic index, meaning it floods your system with sugar very quickly. This is especially risky if you eat it after dinner, as your metabolism is slowing down. For the night, that sugar doesn't get burned for energy. It just circulates, putting stress on your blood vessels all night long while you are trying to rest. And then there is the acid. Pineapple is one of the most acidic fruits you can buy for many seniors whose digestive systems are more sensitive. This can trigger silent acid reflux at night. You might not even feel the classic heartburn, but while you sleep, tiny, aerosolized droplets of stomach acid can travel up your esophagus and into your airway. This can cause micro aspirations that lower your blood oxygen levels throughout the night. This kind of intermittent, low-oxygen stress on the brain is a well-known trigger for early morning strokes, which are statistically the most common and dangerous kind. Let me tell you about Mrs. Clara Hughes, a 77-year-old retired choir director. She was so proud of her healthy habits. Instead of cake or ice cream for dessert, she would enjoy a few slices of fresh pineapple every single night. One morning, she woke up profoundly dizzy and couldn't walk in a straight line. Her daughter noticed her speech was slightly off. At the hospital, scans confirmed she had had a small stroke in the posterior region of her brain, the area that controls balance and coordination. Her blood sugar was elevated. Her blood platelet levels were abnormal, and further tests revealed signs of oxygen drops during her sleep, consistent with silent reflux. It wasn't one single thing. It was the deadly combination of sugar, acid, and the blood-thinning effects of bromelain, all from the fruit she thought was her healthy secret. My advice is firm on this. If you enjoy pineapple, have it in small portions, and only earlier in the day. Never eat it on an empty stomach, and please, never eat it before bed. Your brain requires peace, stability, and steady oxygenation at night, not a cocktail of metabolic surprises. And if you think of fruit interfering with your body at night is scary, let us talk about a summer classic we all assume is purely hydrating. It turns out, it may be quietly doing the exact opposite to your brain. Yes, let us talk about watermelon, that symbol of summer, light, juicy, refreshing, and famously made of over 90% water. Logically, you had think it is this perfect food for staying hydrated, especially on a warm day. But for an older adult, this is a dangerous misconception. Here is the piece of the puzzle most people are missing. Watermelon is a potent natural diuretic. That means it actively makes you urinate more, flushing fluid out of your body. This might sound harmless, but you have to remember that a huge number of seniors are already taking prescription diuretics, water pills for high blood pressure, or heart conditions. When you combine these medications with a large serving of watermelon, especially in the evening, you are creating a powerful flushing effect that can lead to significant overnight dehydration. This is a silent process. You fall asleep and have no idea that your body is losing too much fluid. So, what happens when you become dehydrated? Your blood volume decreases, and your blood itself becomes thicker, more viscous. It moves more slowly through your circulatory system, like syrup instead of water. This thickened, sluggish blood dramatically increases the risk of a clot forming, especially inside those narrow, aging arteries of the brain. Couple that with the natural drop in blood pressure that occurs during deep sleep, and you have created the absolute perfect conditions for an ischemic stroke to occur while you're completely unaware. I think of Mr. Howard Lynn, an 80 retired postal worker. He was a model patient. He walked every day, avoided sweets, and was diligent about his health. One of his nightly rituals, especially in the summer, was to enjoy 2 or 3 large, cool slices of watermelon after dinner to, in his words, cool down and stay hydrated. One morning, he woke up feeling incredibly dizzy. When he tried to get out of bed, his legs gave out and he collapsed. In the ER, his blood pressure was alarmingly low, and his lab results screamed dehydration. His blood was literally thick. A scan confirmed he had had a small ischemic stroke, most likely caused by a clot that formed overnight when his circulation had slowed to a crawl. Howard was stunned to learn that the very fruit he was using to hydrate was actually pulling essential fluid out of his system when combined with his daily diuretic pill. It tipped his body over a dangerous precipice. So, please, if you love watermelon, enjoy it in moderation, and earlier in the day, if you are on water pills, it is critical to speak with your doctor before making it a regular part of your diet. And if you do eat it, consider pairing it with a small pinch of salt or a sip of something with electrolytes to help your body actually hold on to the hydration. And never, ever ignore morning symptoms like a dry mouth, dizziness, or feeling off balance upon waking. These could be your body as whispers that your hydration and circulation are not right. This theme of interaction between food and the body is delicate balance. Brings us to another breakfast staple, a fruit long hailed as a champion of vitamin C and heart health. Could it really be interacting with your medications in a way that puts you at risk? Let us take a closer look. Think about the classic American breakfast. A glass of orange juice is almost always in the picture. We see it as pure health, a liquid ray of sunshine. But here's the critical warning that most seniors and their doctors have overlooked for decades: oranges, and most especially concentrated orange juice, can quietly and dangerously interfere with many of the most common life-saving medications you take. It is not just about the sugar, although a single glass off juice can send your blood sugar soaring. The real hidden danger lies in a group of natural compounds found in citrus fruits like oranges, and even more so in grapefruit. These compounds are called pheronocoumarins. It is a complicated word, but what it does is terrifyingly simple. It blocks a specific enzyme in your liver and small intestine, an enzyme whose job it is to break down and process about half of all prescription drugs on the market. When this enzyme is blocked, one of two things happens. Either your body can't absorb the medication properly, rendering it useless, or more dangerously, your body fails to break the drug down, causing it to build up in your bloodstream to toxic levels. This means that blood pressure medication you have been taking safely for years could suddenly become far too potent, causing your blood pressure to plummet and leading to dizziness, falls, or even a stroke from low blood flow. A statin drug for cholesterol could accumulate and cause severe muscle pain, weakness, or brain fog. A crucial blood thinner might stop working correctly, leaving your blood unstable and dramatically increasing your stroke risk without any outward warning. This isn't just a theory. I have seen the consequences. I had a patient, Mr. Albert Bryant, a 79-year-old retired bus driver with a morning ritual he adored. Every day, he had to have a big glass of fresh squeezed orange juice right alongside his heart and cholesterol pills. He called it his sunshine in a glass, but over a few months, he started feeling strange. He was getting dizzy and lightheaded when he stood up, and some mornings he felt a bit confused. One day, he collapsed while getting out of his favorite recliner. The doctors found he had had a minor ischemic stroke, and his blood work revealed that the levels of his medications were dangerously high, even though he was taking the exact prescribed dose. Liver is processing plant, causing his system to quietly overload. My recommendation is direct. If you take any medications, especially statins, calcium channel blockers for blood pressure, or blood thinners, you should seriously limit or even skip orange juice altogether. Never take your pills with citrus juice. If you are unsure, you must ask your doctor or pharmacist specifically about this interaction. If you love that citrus taste, a small squeeze of lemon or lime in your water is a much safer alternative, as they contain far less of these interfering compounds at this stage of life. Protecting the delicate balance inside your body is paramount, and even an orange can tip the scales. And if that makes you rethink your morning routine, wait until you hear about the final fruit on our list, a sweet, tropical treat that could be delivering a devastating 1-2 punch of high sugar and liver interference all at once. Let us talk about the mango, that soft, juicy, vibrant fruit that feels like a decadent tropical dessert. It seems too delicious to be dangerous, but if you are over 60, and particularly if you are on any medication for blood pressure, heart rhythm, or cholesterol, a mango might be one of the riskiest fruits you can eat. First, let us be clear about the sugar. A mango is one of the highest sugar fruits you will find. A single cup of sliced ripe mango can contain nearly 45 grams of sugar. To put that in perspective, that is more sugar than you will find in a glazed donut. Now, picture what that massive sugar load does to an aging body. Your insulin response is already slower, and your blood vessels are more fragile. That sudden, overwhelming surge of sugar creates a powerful inflammatory response inside your arteries, especially the delicate ones that feed your brain. This inflammation can cause microscopic cracks and fissures in the vessel walls. And what is your body's natural response to a crack? It sends platelets to form a clot and patch the damage in a young, healthy person with wide, flexible arteries. This might not be a problem, but in a senior whose arteries may already be narrowed by age and plaque, that patch can easily become large enough to block the flow of blood entirely, triggering a stroke. But like pineapple, the danger doesn't stop with sugar. Mango contains a unique compound called mangiferin. While it has some studied benefits, it also has a dark side. It can interfere with the same critical enzyme system in your liver that oranges do, the cytochrome P450 system. This is the system responsible for metabolizing a huge range of common drugs for heart conditions, cholesterol, and blood pressure. So, when you eat mango, You are not only flooding your body with inflammatory sugar, you may also be preventing your body from safely clearing your essential metals. They build up in your system day by day. You don't feel it at first, until one day you feel profoundly dizzy, weak, or worse, until your blood pressure suddenly crashes, or your heart rhythm becomes dangerously unstable, all without warning. I remember the case of Mr. William Booker, an 83-year-old retired firefighter. He decided to eat clean and replaced his afternoon cookies with a handful of dried mango slices. He was also taking medication for atrial fibrillation and high blood pressure. After a few weeks of his new healthy snack, he started waking up feeling lightheaded. One morning he collapsed. While getting out of bed, his wife saw that the left side of his face was drooping at the hospital. Scans confirmed a mild ischemic stroke. But the blood tests told the rest of the story. The levels of his heart medication were abnormally, dangerously high. Even though he had been taking his pills exactly as prescribed, the culprit was the daily mango, concentrated in its dried form, which had overwhelmed his liver's ability to process his life-saving drugs. My advice to you is this: if you must have mango, treat it like a rare, potent candy. Eat only a few small bites, and only during the daytime. Never eat it before bed. And be especially wary of dried mango, which is a super concentrated source of both sugar and mangiferin. If you do have a small piece, always pair it with a protein or fat, like a few nuts or a slice of cheese, to buffer that intense sugar hit. And most importantly, if you are taking any prescription medication for your heart or blood pressure, please talk to your doctor before you ever make mango a part of your diet. Now that we have journeyed through these 6 surprising fruits, you might be feeling a little uncertain, maybe even a bit worried about what is truly safe to eat, and that is a completely natural and understandable feeling. But my goal here today is not to create fear, it is to create awareness, because recognizing these hidden risks is the first and most powerful step you can take toward protecting your brain, your heart, and your precious independence for all the years to come. As we grow older, our bodies change, and the wisdom of a long life tells us that we must change with them. Even our healthiest habits need a second look. The very fruits that nourished and strengthened us in our youth can, under the right circumstances, quietly begin to work against us. This is especially true when they are mixed with medications or eaten at the wrong time of day. This isn't about giving up the pleasure and nutrition of fruit. It is about learning to eat it wisely. It is about shifting your mindset from quantity to quality, from mindless eating to mindful consumption. It means choosing smaller portions, enjoying your fruit earlier in the day, and almost always pairing it with a healthy protein or fat to keep your body in balance. And above all, it means having open, honest conversations with your doctor about how your diet interacts with your specific health needs and medications. Your brain, your heart, your mobility, and your clarity of mind are your most valuable assets. They are worth protecting with vigilance and care. You have navigated a long and full life with strength, resilience, and wisdom. Now is the time to apply that same wisdom to the food you put on your plate. Eat with awareness. Listen to the subtle signals your body sends you, and take proactive control of your health medications. We love hearing from you, so please leave a comment below. We read and respond to every single one with helpful insights. If this video brought you clarity or a sense of hope, please give it a like, share it with a loved one, and make sure to subscribe for more.